morning, so this might be an issue there. And Sandy, you feel free to just pop in here at any point. Okay, we've got the red light that says I'm recording. You should know that you can, on your bottom red bar, hit those vertical three dots and click the recording button, even if I'm not. However, since I hosted the meeting, whenever you hit the stop recording button, that meeting is going to get saved to my Google Drive. It doesn't matter who starts the recording. It's whoever initiates the meeting that it gets saved to their Google Drive. So right now we're saving this, and that way if somebody else is in a different training session right now and they want to see what we covered, they'll be able to pop in and check it out. The next thing that's really convenient to be able to do and let the students know is called pinning the leader. And all that simply means is I'm going to take the photo or the video image that I want to show up consistently in the background and tag it to it. The benefit of this is every time somebody moves, Google recognizes those gestures and it will shift that background image. So if you've got somebody tapping their pencil or moving around, they're going to pop in and out with whoever else is tapping their pencil and everything else. So to pin the leader, I'm just hovering over Lynn's image right now, and you'll see the thumbtack and it says pin to screen, and that's going to put him on the screen. Now, while he's pinned, it won't change images. So that's exactly what we'll be able to see. Okay. Any questions so far? Cool. All right. You can mute somebody. So let's say Jess came into the meeting and her dog's barking and she's messing with her cell phone and she's not like kind of, you know, it's going to happen with some students, right? Then all you have to do is click this mute icon and it will mute their audio. I can't unmute anybody. That's a privacy thing. And so just be aware that once you mute somebody, you'll have to let them know if they're trying to talk and that for some reason they think they aren't muted. The students should be pretty savvy with this kind of technology though. And they'll probably figure it out quicker than we do. You can remove somebody from a meeting if they're being problematic for some reason. I doubt they would be. You're recording it. I think that you'll have kind of the normal attention that you do in a class. But if for some reason somebody is being distracting, you can go up to the People tab, and there's a drop-down arrow by everybody's name. You just click the drop-down arrow, and then this little circle with the line through it says remove, and it will kick them out. People who are kicked out of meetings cannot return. It disables the link for them. You should know that. Yeah, go ahead, Jess. Just unmute yourself and ask away.
Okay, my question is, they cannot return to that particular meeting, that session of the meeting, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. But you will have a recording of it, and they can, they can view the recording later. I don't suspect that that's something we'll have to use, but just know it is an option. Especially once you have 10 or more, students in a meet with you. I really, you want them to use the chat. And, if it's just you and like 3 or 4 students, they can probably unmute themselves and pop in with a question. But if you have 10 kids, you want them to just use this chat feature and let you know what the question is. It's kind of convenient because if you're mid-sentence and you're talking about an assignment or trying to give an example, that question saved, they can type it. Don't feel the need to respond to it immediately, right? When you pause to catch your breath, you can click on this comments tab and you can go back and you kind of have a list of their questions. So, exactly. Yeah, y'all jump in here. Go ahead, Sandy.
Hi, everyone. Just a quick something that we were talking previously in meeting up here in the middle school. So I think that it depends on also any decision that the teacher might want to take. But you can also tell your students that they can also remove, apart from the microphone, also the video. Sometimes the video, when we have a lot of people, it can be distracting with this for the students. So I think that's up to you. Also, we were talking about the asking the questions in the chat. And while we were probably, I guess, 7 or 8 people talking in the same Google Meet, we did find that it was sometimes it would happen that the leader would miss a question. So you can also decide to do kind of like a 3 cues to stand out for a question for someone. And that way it can be easily identify, the teacher can identify who actually has a question, and then proceed to give them the opportunity to discuss it through the audio or through just the chat.
Well, thanks, Sandy.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I should have typed the cues, but I had trouble during the upper school meeting with my chat bar. It stopped scrolling for some reason, and I couldn't follow the dialogue in the chat bar. So I could see that being really problematic if kids are trying to signal a question for me. Was I clicking on the wrong thing? I mean, I was going up to the little icon in the corner with the speech balloon and clicking on it.
And then the trouble was you weren't able to scroll through it?
It wasn't, it ceased advancing, and then I was unable to scroll through it and make it advance.
It might be that maybe the internet maybe the wireless got bogged down or something like that. As if we get more questions in there, or if y'all want to fill that up, feel free to just type in there a few comments, and once it gets full, we'll see if you can scroll through it, Jess. Okay. As Sandy was just saying, students can turn off the camera. There's pros and cons to that, of course, but certainly if they're pinning you to the backboard, it should keep the students from being distracting. But if they are being really, really distracting or being silly, you can certainly ask them to turn off their camera. You do have several layouts right here underneath where I had the recording button, so you can change the layout here to a sidebar, a spotlight, which is just the individual or tiled. Again, there is kind of a limit to how many it'll tile, so you're not going to be able to see all 12 students at once. You're only going to be able to see, I think, 4 to 6 at a time. And then people can call in and use a phone if they're having problems. Yeah, Jess.
I'm sorry. So just to be clear, to change the formatting of the screen, to change the layout, did you go to the upper right-hand corner of your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you could see it on my screen.
I'm taking notes, and I'm not watching when I'm taking.
Okay. Yeah, it's the white bar at the bottom of the screen. These vertical 3 ellipses, the vertical 3 dots.
Yep. Okay. So I go to the
and then
3
change
dots.
layout.
The more
Yep.
options.
Yep.
Okay. No worries. Thank you.
Sure. And those are essentially the basics. As the hour kind of turns over here in a second, I'll show you where these recordings save, how you can access them, and how you can change the permissions on them. So what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to stop this recording. And under that, that's my more options. I'm going to click stop recording. It's going to ask me if I want to. It's going to let me know exactly where it's going to save. And then it's also going to let me know that a link to that recording is going to be added to the event, and all of you will receive access to the recording because you were part of it. I'll show you how to change that later on. If for some reason you wanted to open it up, well, you'll definitely want to open it up to more people than who were there. But if for some reason you wanted to restrict access, you can do that as well.